Make it available to be spectated from friends list?
Um, I can't spectate off of you,
Well,
which is
that's
a
a little rough.
problem. Yeah, I know it is rather rough. I'll go ahead and try to get this worked out. I'm going to have to
All right.
restart the league client. But
Well,
as
in the
soon as I get that
meantime, I'll go ahead
restarted,
and cover everything that's going on. Hopefully, the ads have been taken care of, and we should be able to get into this game. So, your team on the bottom left-hand side of Summoner's Rift on the blue side will be CLG Prime. They're starting out in a little bit of a defensive sort of spread for their jungle. They are going up against the team on the upper right-hand corner of the map. On the red side, this is Team Fear, and after going through all the way through Curse and CLG through Absolute Legends, they meet here in the semifinals of NESL's coverage of IEM Cologne North American qualifiers. Only top two teams that do advance to IEM Cologne, so you got to know that every game does count. This is a best-of-3 single elimination tournament, and so it looks like we will be starting out with game one and pretty even spread across the map. You can see GoSuzuna getting hit there by a Nidalee trap, just kind of chilling up there in the tri-brush. So Hotshot knows exactly what's going on up there, and Mandatory Cloud standing there in the mid lane, scouted out by Chalister, so CLG knows exactly what their lane opponents are going to look like. Don't think we'll actually be seeing a sort of a lane swap here, so no 2v1s in the top lane or anything crazy like that. Going to be starting out a relatively normal game. Well, I guess as normal as having a Darius mid is concerned. So you have to run an AP top with an AD bruiser mid just because, well, you have to have your AP damage from somewhere. Unless you go like a Karthus Soraka lane bottom, but nobody does that because it's bad. And so you definitely don't want to run things that will just kind of lose to basically every bottom lane. So this looks like we're going to have Mandatory Cloud pulling here for Smithy on the red side of his jungle. You don't see a lot of Cho'Gaths start red unless they're going for a super early top lane gank, and it does look like we're gonna have to watch out for Smithy doing that before all of the mobility for Nidalee does kick in. So that's going to be something interesting to watch. But more interesting, this middle lane, I gotta say, I'm really excited to see how Mandatory Cloud does against Big Fat LP. You gotta know he's practiced this matchup, actually tries to go in there for the decimate, but actually misses it, only hits the minions, which is actually gonna push the wave, which is not gonna work out too well. So Fourth Oracle, whenever you get back in the game, just feel free to interrupt me, let me know what's going on, but until then, I got you covered. We got Smithy running through the jungle, trying for ganks right and left, but unable to really get much done. They're just going to go back, wait for the respawn of his Wraith camp, I think. That's a little bit slowed time coming. It's not even looking towards his blue buff just yet, so he's going to go ahead and use his Rupture and then the Vorpal Spikes to go ahead and take that down really quickly. But you can see Mandatory Cloud having such a huge zone. It's actually glitching out the animation here for the Decimate. It only shows him like wiggling his axe a little bit for me. So hopefully you guys can see the full thing and aren't as confused as I am when he just kind of goes out, spazzes out and does damage for no reason. So Darius having a few interesting ways of dealing damage, but that is not necessarily one of them. Bottom lane, a little bit of trading going back and forth between Doublelift and Aphromoo. Doublelift actually, Loco Doco getting chucked down to about half health. Muffin Cutie dropped a ward down there. Wow, that burst combo coming out from Aphromoo. Just so much damage being dealt down to Doublelift. And Loco Doco not doing anything cheesy like running AP, but Big Fat LP taking so much damage from all those ticks of hemorrhage stacked up on him during this cast, and or during, well, at least the 3 minutes of the game that's been going on. It leaves Big Fat LP with only 2 health potions, or only 1 health potion left. It's looking at Darius, so that's going to be a 150 HP advantage there for Mandatory Cloud, who's really starting to bully this lane. That's why you've seen Chowster kind of come up there. He does have double buffs, and he's looking to go down bottom lane to help out Double Lift along with Loco Doco, and you can see that the lane's kind of equalizing out. You saw Aphromoo with a little bit of early pressure, but that's forced him to burn 2 potions, although Double Lift actually, without any left in his inventory, he's not going to have the sustain. Smithy comes running down the lane. Let's move speed. Quinton Initiator kicking in at maximum speeds. Will he land the Rupture? Not even going to go for it. Just going to back out, and it will be spotted leaving there by that ward. So meanwhile, top lane, I do want to kind of talk about what's happening. What's happening is Hotshot GG's running Snow Bunny Nidalee, one of my favorite skins and one of the ones I was too poor to buy when it came out, so I'm a little bit butthurt about that. But what I'm not disappointed at seeing is GoSuzuna actually doing a really good job. He's actually going to freeze the lane right in front of his turret, at least for the time being. In middle lane, there's actually a gank onto Darius. Mandatory Cloud going to get pulled in, back out from under his turret. The knockup goes out, but so does the first blood. Chowster taking a lot of damage, excuse me, and gonna back out there. So first blood for Big Fat LP and a pause here. So thankfully enough, this will give our wonderful co-caster an opportunity to get back into here. hopefully, if the internet holds out for us, if it holds out for CLG, then that's going to be pretty cool because apparently there's some issues with that on their end. So hopefully nothing bad going on. But I do want to talk about what's going in on this game while everybody disconnects and reconnects and whatever's going on. Hopefully they fix that on their end, and on our end we can fix that by getting fourth Oracle in here. But hopefully, whenever that happens, I say hopefully a lot because I'm really darn hopeful, guys. Because if I wasn't, I'd just be like, well, screw this game. Everybody's gone. No co-cast or GG. But I'm not because this is awesome, and I've solo cast for basically my entire life. So nothing out of the ordinary. How's it going? Hey, Lowin, how's it going? All right, well, it looks like the game is back underway. Hopefully, all of CLG is rejoined here, and we can get back everything underway, because it does look like we had some, excuse me, interesting disconnect issues. I'm going to need to take a drink after this, but everybody back, moving around, showing good signs of life, which is what we like to see from our games of League of Legends. Top lane, a lot of aggression going down there by Rumble, but nothing out of the ordinary. Only that first blood picked up by BigFatLP, who apparently did that while his internet was disconnecting. So, hey man, you got to take them where you can get them.
Yeah, I mean, kind of scumbaggish, but you know, these things happen in online events. You just cope. You cope and you move on and you keep on playing.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to have to take a little bit of time to keep this client from glitching out on me because apparently everybody's having some issues. So while unfortunate though that may be, I'm going to be able to get back into here. And now it's your turn to cover for me. So we're just kind of got this chain.
Xmithy has gone in with the Ruptured, lands the silence onto BigFatLP. Actually, the Moonfall pulling back Xmithy. He's taking a ton of damage. Chaucer has come in. But I don't think... Oh, they do want to keep on fighting. This Mandatory Cloud feels he's strong enough. Isn't 6 yet. A little bit behind BigFatLP, but they're both going to disengage. Neither jungler being able to pick up a kill for his mid lane.
All right, and we're back. So everything looks good across the board, but it's going to be... an apprehend in. The Rupture actually misses. Great micro there by BigFatLP, but Chaucer comes in. He's going to jump in onto
delayed.
him.
I think
I
you're very
am way delayed. Wow, that was really far behind. Thanks for the heads up. I'm back to live.
Yeah, I just got that entire play and you were
I know, I was like, wow, we just saw this happen. How's he back alive and back in the lane? And then I realized that the client trolls me once again, but we're back to live, so everything looks pretty good for me. Oh my goodness. No short of action, shortment? I don't even know what I was talking about there, but basically top lane, GhostZyra actually getting jumped in. There's a ton of minions, but he doesn't really care because he's going to be able to burn through those. The ultimate comes out and actually completely misses Hotshot, so that's a little bit unfortunate. Spear coming out, and we actually see that he's running AD Nidalee, so no surprises there, but he actually goes in there. The Ignite goes out on GhostZyra, forces the flash out, so really aggressive plays there by Hotshot, forcing GhostZyra after he misses his ult to just back on out of there. It's 2-on-2 mid lane as the junglers kind of come out here and illustrate their presence, but while they're there, bottom lane doesn't really have to worry about that. I mean, it's like, okay, well, where's the junglers? Where are they going to gank? Oh, wait, they're all mid, but it does look like...
Up in top lane, Hotshot is going completely all in on GhostZyra. The Ignite is down on both, but Hotshot tanked way too many towers, didn't anticipate the defense of that scrap shield, and down in bot lane, DoubleF taking a lot of damage. So much poke from Muffin Cutie. I don't think with that little mana, Afrim is going to be able to go in and pick up a kill, but two people are down in mid lane, or making their way down from the top of the river. Both Chaucer and BigFatLP, and the Moonfall comes in onto Afrim, who kicked back, exhausted. He's gone, and DoubleF is going to pick that one up.
And great power play made there by CLG. You can see, let's take a look at the word coverage here for Fear. Wait, it's not existent. And really, that we actually saw that happen yesterday during the Rocket King of the Hill. It was basically, well, there's no words, so the only way this gang is going to work is if I can just walk down on you. And, well, there's no words, so it actually works out really well. So I can't argue with that. So that's going to be an extra kill picked up there for BigFatLP. It will actually, yeah, he has already picked up one. There's one on Caitlyn, and then top lane, the trade 1-for-1. But now the apprehend over the wall, Hotshot's just like, what? There's a blue buff here, and now there's not anymore, but now Chaucer jumping in onto this. Looks like the Q comes over, but it does miss. BigFatLP trying to get in there, but there's the Rumble ult.
Yep, looks like NocturneCLG is going to stick around just a little bit too long. Actually taking a ton of damage. Moonfall comes in, pulls him back. He has to flash out of there. Now Chaucer trying to pick off. Oh no, NocturneCLG goes down. He couldn't land the ultimate. And now they've turned on Xmithy. The Rupture goes out. They knock up Nidalee. She jumps over to the side of the wall. Is still getting burned by that flamethrower. The heal goes out. And everyone is so low. Big Fat OP is basically a basic attack away from dying. And the burn will finish him. Oh, Chaucer goes down too. Now Hotshot has the double buffs. But I think GhostWhoZuna is going to be able to chase him down. He does a little bit more damage. Oh, Nidalee jumped in a bush and she's just way too fast. I don't think Hotshot's going to get caught.
Yeah, he's going to be able to get out of here just barely in time as Fear, man, they're just falling right and left, but an excellent pickup by Zuna there. Chaucer and Big Fat LP both falling in that engage, and Hotshot really coming out of that head because, oh wait, he has the double buffs. So if you think AD Nidalee is a little bit rough as far as harassment is concerned, try having true damage dots that slow you on every one of her auto attacks. That's slightly difficult to deal with, and so you're going to see a GhostWhoZuna peace out here because he definitely needs to pick up some extra items to deal with that, at least for now. So we're gonna see how that works out top lane. We've seen every time the double buffs do go to the top laner, he winds up getting a kill before they wear off, at least as far as the first series was concerned. But this time around, it's gonna be a Chaucer trying for the Q, but perfect pullback from Smithy. He walks in there, picks it up, and then walks it just out of range of Chaucer's resonating strike. So there's one more minion left, and you can actually see, wait, they're going to clear it out for them, so they do want to have that vision. I thought they were just being nice and like, wait a second, they want to steal that later. So Scumbag, Big Fat LP, and Chaucer want to go steal the blue buff. But mandatory
down in bot lane, Muffin Cutie is so low. The ace in the hole doesn't finish him though. Aframu body block that. Really good play by Doublelift.
Yeah, you can see them kind of trading things off. Muffin Cutie getting chunked down really low after some of that harassment and just getting jumped on because, I mean, they recognize Aframu going to be staying back, going to be playing a little bit more passively as far as farming is concerned for now because, oh, wait, well, he's the only one in lane. Muffin Cutie going to go back, and actually, I love this choice. He picked up boots, and then he picked up a ruby crystal. He's not going for the gold per 5. He's rather going to go for it at maximum defensive stats, and there goes in the Moonfall.
NocturneCLG getting chunked down very low. Chaucer comes in. He actually hooks him back in, gets the ignite down. They kick him out away from the tower so that NocturneCLG can't finish the job. The ignite goes down. Xmithy is coming from the side, but a safeguard away is going to get Chaucer out of trouble, and looks like GhostWhoZuna was making his way down.
Yeah, and with GhostWhoZuna there, that wouldn't have been a very happy time for Big Fat or Chaucer there. And you can see a lot of mids, or a lot of tops rather, roaming towards the mid lane a lot more often once they are aware of that ward coverage. But look at the damage coming out from Hotshot GG. Like, those red buff spears are just way too much to deal with. Pops into range for a few little kitty auto attacks and skills.
The Moonfall down in mid lane. Xmithy taking a ton of damage, getting dived. But is going to knock up Big Fat LP. Does he have the feast? He doesn't, though, so he's not going to be able to finish anyone.
Yeah, nothing crazy like, you know, feasting AP Cho'Gath or random stuff like that. It's just definitely jungle Cho'Gath. Not a lot of damage, but landing a two-man Rupture there. Really great skill shots coming out of Smithy. Not only this game, but in their series against Curse, those were absolutely on point. And so with a minion taking down that bottom turret, that's how weakened this bottom lane has been. And Muffin Cutie forced to go back and sort of alternate, sort of tag team with Aframu as they sort of trade that back and forth. And that does allow them to, well, that does force them to give up the turret. Loco Doco and Doublelift able to take that down, so it's a 6-3 advantage, and thanks to the Blood Boil, they're actually going to get the speed that they need to get back to turret in time, way before Smithy gets there, although Fear could actually look towards this Baron, or Dragon, oh my goodness. It's going to be pulled out there by Smithy. There's a ward there placed by CLG, so they know what's going on.
Up in top lane, Hotshot and Zuna are still doing, they're engaging down in bot lane, but the slow is down, the ignite is on Zuna, and I thought Hotshot was going to finish him.
Yeah, he popped Ignite. I'm not sure exactly what that was all about. Maybe just saying, well, come at me, bro. If you want to commit to this, then I'm just going to kill you. So forcing the back out, the disengage, and Hotshot using those double buffs to maximum effectiveness, not picking up a kill, but he's going to be going here for this turret. And so now that that's going down, Hotshot having a really strong presence top lane, a lot of action middle as there's a lot of pressure because, well, bottom's gone, and CLG just moving from lane to lane.
They're diving in onto Xmithy. The Moonfall is down. They've pulled him back just a little bit, flashing forward. They didn't have any finishes. Now the hook back in by Darius, and actually the Q from Caitlyn is going to finish the job. Big Fat LP running off to the side of the rest of his team, finishing off that tower. They should get it without too much trouble. Oh, that one basic attack didn't hit, but they'll get it with the minions, and ManCloud wasn't able to pull anyone back in. Now Aframu kind of dueling with Doublelift, just going shot for shot while the red buff is being stolen away by Nidalee and Diana.
That's the name of a new show somewhere. It needs to be Shot for Shot with Double Lift and Aframu. I would watch that. But along with other things I would watch are Double Lift just like stand in the front of his team, just firing out shots when there's 3 members of the enemy team just standing there. He's like, I have 650 range, bros. That's pretty cool. And among other things that are pretty cool, 7-3 with a 3-0 turret lead. 13-14 minutes into the game. I wish I could do that in all of my solo queue games, but unfortunately I'm neither CLG nor Fear. They are actually amazing, and blue buff actually completely gone, counter jungled away from there, so Chowster's just gonna back on out of there after clearing that buff out, but he's in the jungle. Where is the rest of his team? They are kind of split up back to the rest of their lanes. They're going to keep shoving their lanes out. I think Hotshot, yeah, actually went back. He's going to go for a Trinity Force first. I actually like that. He's had a huge advantage in the lane after getting 3 turrets already for gold. That's going to be an aggregate 450 gold across the board. That's pretty cool as well. So he's going to return up there, push that back out, and CLG looking to exert a lot of global map pressure, well, across the map, because that's what global means. And so as redundant as that sounds, pretty effective nonetheless.
Yep, and Dragon is back up, so looks like Fear going to try and pick that one up. They need to get, any golden menace that they can. I'm surprised no one's picked up an Oracle since trying to clear out wards, but they should be able to pick this up without too much of an issue. Nunu tossing a ward over the wall just to get a little bit of vision on them, and GhostUzuna looks like he's going to back because he doesn't want to leave Nidalee up in top lane to split push.
Yeah, and the split push from Nidalee is something that it's almost like Shen level, because that's exactly how evasive she is.
The blue buff, they're coming in to steal this blue buff.
Now, where is it coming? Smithy pulls it away once again just to keep Chowster from doing it, but now he comes around the side. Muffin knows what's up. Smithy just has to back up and leave this be. It's going to be smited out there. Actually not smited, taken away there by Big Fat LP. That third strike from his passive Moonsilver Blade just doing so much damage, bursting it down, taking that away. So there we go. It's going to be a counter jungled blue buff there on Big Fat LP. So, tit for tat. It's going to go 1-for-1.
Big Fat LP going in on Mandatory Cloud. The Moonfall lands, plus the resonating strike over the wall. The hook back in onto Big Fat LP. They're doing a lot of damage to him. The Rupture knocks up Chowster, but I think they will be able to finish Mandatory Cloud. The ultimate comes out, and oh my god, the next stack of the ultimate. He is gonna go down to Hotshot GG, but Big Fat OP is going to fall as well. Now it's Hotshot against 3 members. Double Lift is still down in bot lane pushing, and the remaining members are cut off. Corki Valkyring forward to get what he can down on Chowster. The Phage proc is out, as well as the ultimate from Rumble. A flash forward, but the last rocket does not land. He jumps away to a ward. Now Hotshot drawing off the remainder of the enemy team, while Double Lift just chills and takes a tower, and Hotshot about to create a great escape, but looks like he's going to go back in onto GhostUzuna, who was slowed. Nice flash away, plus a taser behind to stop that, and now looks like Smithy wants to find Double Lift, isn't going to knock him up, and Double Lift's going to just shoot at him, because that's what Caitlyn's do.
Yeah, pretty much. I feel as if that's a fairly consistent role for an AD carry, shooting at people, although for the longest time we didn't have guns, and now with Caitlyn, well, it's a pretty big gun nonetheless. An Infinity Edge already complete on Caitlyn. That's just that early tower gold going straight towards 150% critical damage strikes. I guess it's a little bit more than that, so 250% instead of double that. It's 100% more than normal damage, which is 100. You know what? Math is too hard to do while I'm talking, and also forgetting to breathe a few times. But you know what? I can handle that, because apparently I don't need to do that anymore. I didn't ask for these powers.
You've evolved beyond breathing.
With great casting power comes great responsibility, and well, I was still working on that part, but what Fear is working on right now is trying to stem the hemorrhaging of their turrets right now, and it's, oh my goodness, Double Lift. Don't do it, Double Lift.
Do it, Double Lift.
Waiting for Corki to micro towards the wall.
Do it, Double Lift. Oh, no, he ran away.
Now, Double Lift doesn't run away, he retreats. He kills in reverse directions. Double Lift retreating a little bit back towards his double golem. See, he saw more targets to kill, and he's just like, well, I have to walk that way to kill them, which just happened to be away from the enemy team. So, you know what, a handy-dandy little coincidence there. Big Fat LP and Loco Doco kind of holding down the mid lane, keeping that from pushing out, as Hotshot kind of goes back to shoving the top lane, and really does across the map, the full court press here by CLG. Really impressive. They're putting on so much early game pressure that, I mean, if Fear can sort of weather the storm, come out of this not a horribly behind, then they're going to be able to start to put together some plays, but they're already down about 6,000 gold. 5,500 is the exact count.
Slow. Dodging. Aframu is getting burned.
Wow, yeah, so he's actually going to go out of there, and so will the bottom turret. That's 4-0. CLG just picking these super early pushing champions and just shoving down one lane after another. Wow, Muffin Cutie, look at that damage. Doublelift continuing to chunk him down to about a quarter HP, way behind that turret. Takes a little bit of damage. Gonna go drop the ultimate. What is that damage? Muffin Cutie lives with 120 HP.
Oh, a nice flash away by Doublelift is gonna leave LocoDoco to just die for his team since. Oh no, the trap! LocoDoco walked him into a trap and it's gonna get away. So Doublelift, you know, he got Muffin Cutie out, or not Muffin Cutie, he got LocoDoco out of there.
Yeah,
it was all planned.
It's pretty great traps. I hear the cupcakes are in fact quite delicious, and LocoDoco very happy that he is not attracted to those. Because I mean, if Willem had kind of taken a chomp out of those, he'd be like, "No, that's not the way traps work. It's supposed to work on the other team." And then you realize that Doublelift would have had the most epic Caitlyn trap troll of them all. But works on the enemy team, keeps LocoDoco alive, gets him out of there safely, and it's 8-4 and well 4-0 as far as turrets are concerned, with a lead that only keeps growing here for CLG. I think that math may be slightly off, but you know what? We're going to go with it. Top lane, Hotshot GG continuing to push that down with AD Nidalee. He has a red potion in his inventory and a Trinity Force there as well as Mercury Treads, so he's just going to continue to shove this in, and they're going to have to send more than just Rumble Top. I mean, sure, the slows coming out from GoSuzuna are going to be help him to catch up to Nidalee, but really, unless he throws down an ult, just randomly gets a super effective trade with all the magic penetration he's built, it's going to be a rough time there against Hotshot. So I don't know, man. Hotshot looking really dominant.
Hotshot's going all the way in on him. No, he turned around. I thought he was about to just finish him right then and there. Looks like Xsmithy's going to come up and help out GoSuzuna because Hotshot is just absolutely finishing him. And I think we might be about to see an engagement in mid. Big Fat LP does go back in. The Moonfall pulls back after him, forces the Valkyrie out. The Sona crescendo has been finished. Doublelift actually juking away, takes out the tower at the same time. Now Xsmithy looking to try and catch anything, but the slows from Nunu Snowball are going to keep him in place, or as good as.
Yeah, I mean, Smithy just waited a little bit too long, but wow, Big Fat LP just continuing to throw out those crescent slashes, crescent strikes, and trying to get as much harassment as possible. Wards absolutely everywhere while catching Smithy across the board and or across the wall, rather.
Kicks away Xsmithy. Looks like Mandatory Cloud wants to go in there. He's going to hook back Doublelift, but it's not going to do him any good. He's probably going to fall here as another Moonfall brings everyone back. Xsmithy one shot away. Now the ace in the hole comes out, and it's actually Diana who picks up that kill. Meanwhile, Hotshot GG up in top lane, finishing off GoSuzuna. Needs one, maybe two more basic attacks. He's just going to chase him in under the tower. He doesn't even care. He's at this point, his team is pushing into the Nexus. Oh, but he falls.
Yeah, so unfortunately, Hotshot going down, but CLG is in the base. CLG's in your base, and fortunately Doublelift is going to be pushing in basically every single lane all over the place. He's like, well, I started out bottom lane, but I lost too many turrets, so I'm just going to walk middle lane, take all of those as well. And you can see basically 0 outer turrets left. It's 7-0 as far as turrets are concerned. Apparently some more lag coming in here from CLG, so we're going to give them a few seconds to go ahead and take care of their internet issues, where we get to talk about a screen that's not moving. And it's exciting as that is, well, the game's actually been pretty one-sided. There's not a whole lot of fighting, but what fighting there has been has gone really well for CLG, just kind of playing it passively a little bit early on, except for the pushing, which was very aggressive. Bottom turret being taken super early, and then top falling mid falling there shortly thereafter, and then Hotshot just stays top, and AFK pushes everything in, kills GoSuzuna over and over again, and well, that's pretty much the game for you. 4-2 on Hotshot, Nidalee GG, 108 CS with 5-2 on Big Fat LP, and you can notice strategy has actually been using a lot on Diana, picking up those ninja tabi, and in this case actually playing it really safe and going for a Doran's shield and ring as well. So really great defensive stats to start things off against that sort of it's not necessarily cheesy, but it's definitely a little bit non-standard or out of the meta as far as putting bruisers mid, and handling it really well, and coming out really positive. 5-2 versus 0-5 for Mandatory Cloud. Definitely not the most effective I've seen him be with bruisers mid.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Darius, he's definitely an unconventional mid lane. We've seen, you know, every unconventional mid lane, as in bruiser mid lanes, they're all really mobile. Look at Lee Sin, look at Jace. They all have great ways to engage and disengage. Darius, he's got a hook. That's about it. He's got no real way of, jumping in on you or getting himself out of trouble, which is, mid lanes, any mid lane whose melee range has a dash in or a shield out. Diana has a dash in and a shield. Kassadin has a double jump. LeBlanc has a dash in and a dash out in the same spell. All of those, well, she's not really melee, but the two I mentioned that are melee that, get up in your face, Katarina, shimpo away. She can get herself out of trouble, which is why Lee Sin and Darius make decent mid lanes. Going up against that. So I guess they were going for mandatory Cloud, just going Dunk City, but he wasn't able to do that.
Yeah, and I think that's something that also, I mean, you can understand what they were thinking there. Hey, Diana's a mid lane champion. She is melee, and so she's going to have to come into close range. Well, as Darius, he works very well when you're in close range with him. It's just spin to win, stack up the hemorrhage stacks, and then finish it off with Noxie and Guillotine. And it's great, but there's a little bit more depth to mid lane than that. It's all about, well, can you wave clear effectively? He has to get up there and use his body for the spin to win as far as the decimate's concerned. But Diana really just pokes with her Q and tries to farm out with those third auto attacks for the Moonsilver Blade. And Darius really has to get a lot closer and a lot more vulnerable, and you can see exactly how vulnerable that's been. He's gone 0-5 so far just because of how much he has to be in the fight. And if he's not tanky enough, well, it doesn't exactly work very well. So we do have some reconnections and disconnections here. That's a little bit rough to deal with, but still some interesting things to talk about.
Yeah, I really hope that CLG can get back in this game, because now everyone's disconnected. And, you look at this map, they haven't dropped a turret. They've only dropped about 5 kills. They pretty much have this game on lock. They've got game 1 pretty much, wrapped up. It's their game to throw away. Doublelift does a ton of damage. He's got Infinity Edge Zeal at 20 minutes. Corki, he's got a pickaxe and a phage, and is working on his Infinity Edge, but is way, way off. He's going for the crit heavy. He's got, the phage slow, which is helping, but it's really not in comparison to the damage that Doublelift is doing. And if you look at CLG, they've got a very good comp for peeling and re-engaging. Like I said, Lee Sin's a very mobile champion. Diana's a very mobile champion. Those epic moonfalls from Big Fat LP, just pulling in 3, 4, all 5 members just all at once have been great. Loco Doco's done a phenomenal job peeling, and Hotshot hasn't even been involved in most of these fights. He's just, split pushing top lane. He's being Hotshot. He's just chilling up there, farming his way to victory, killing Gosuzuna whenever he gets within, pouncing distance.
Well, I got to ask you a question here, because something I've been wondering about since I started, talking a little bit too much, is that when you see the way mid lane's going here for Fear, and you see that their bruiser strategy may be not working, what do they have to fall back on? They have a 5-2 Rumble, but what does Fear need to do to sort of stem the tide that is basically CLG just rolling over them?
They got to get Doublelift. They gotta find a way to kill Doublelift, which is hard because they don't really have an engaging bruiser. They have Xmithy, who can pop people up. They've got Gosuzuna, who can slow people. They've got the hook from Darius, but they've got no one who can jump in other than Corki, and the last thing you want is your Corki being the front line. They've got, no one who can dive in there and do a ton of damage or force the enemy team to scatter. CLG has Hotshot, Chaucer, and Big Fat LP who can all get in there, CC someone, and do a ton of damage.
And that's a good point, Lowin. I completely agree. I think that once they can get to Doublelift, I mean, say magically they can just teleport next to him, he explodes, now it's 4v5. Well, in that 4v5 situation, they actually have a lot of options. They have some great poke coming out from Aftermoo. They have, the same thing from Muffin Cutie, and a great engage from Smithy's Rupture that just pushes people out of the way if they don't want to get hit by that. So a lot of options here for both teams, but it's been a really one-sided game as far as turrets are concerned. What do you think about this pushing strategy coming out from CLG and how effective it's been?
It's been considerably effective. I mean, they have the towers they need. They went with a very, very aggressive bot lane. Doublelift landed every basic attack in between a minion kill onto Afromoo or Muffin Cutie. He just completely abused the early Caitlyn range, which is something people forgot. When Caitlyn came out, she was dangerous. There's a champion who outranged everybody but Tristana and could push Tristana all the way into her tower and not even let Tristana get to the point where her range, she got her effective range. So with very good coordinated play from LocoDoco, they've been able to peel off anyone trying to kill Doublelift and let Doublelift fully abuse, all of that range and all of that damage.
I really think that's, like you said, the range from Doublelift has been huge. You saw that from the very beginning, taking that bottom turret early. And then CLG didn't stop there. They have a very well-defined game plan, and this is really impressive from CLG. They started out with some new rosters, some new roster changes, moving positions around everywhere, and for a while, they were a little bit up in the air as far as their communication. But as far as this game is concerned, Doublelift and LocoDoco working very well together to push down that bottom turret and then fulfilling the game plan, going mid, taking another turret, and then snowballing both of those lanes, while meanwhile they just leave Hotshot alone to do what he is so great at doing, just staying top lane and winning that lane really, really hard. And it's really great, I gotta say, to see Hotshot back up in that top lane, back up where he started out, doing a lot of good work here for CLG. And I mean, how do you feel about this? I mean, it's a relatively new roster here from CLG, and they're actually working really well together.
Yeah, I spent a little bit talking to a couple of people on the change-up, and, a couple things to say. One, Chalice moving into the jungle. Definitely a good call. Jungle is about managing the entirety of the map. You have to, be everywhere. You're expected to help every lane. You have a very difficult job. Well, Chalice went from doing the world's most difficult job, which was support, which is keep everyone alive, especially your carries who are going to get absolutely destroyed if you don't do that right. So he went from one job, which is about managing the risk of the entire team, to another job, which is also about managing the risk. So he's done a really good job taking what he knows about ganks, about surviving as many ganks as he has in bot lane, and about the ones he hasn't survived, and transferring that knowledge into being a very good jungler. And he's always been a good Lee Sin. He plays a ton of Lee Sin solo queue. He always has. Hotshot up in top lane. Hotshot, he's gotten his top lane mojo back. He's doing a really, really good job. And as for Doublelift and LocoDoco, one of the things when they started out this roster, one of the first times they played, they wanted to take the early turret, or LocoDoco wanted to take the early turret, and CLG, the rest of the team, didn't, because they didn't have a plan for it. Now they have a plan. They know how to execute that plan very, very well.
That's a really good point, Lauwin. It's specifically something that LocoDoco brought to the team. He's like, well, I come from Korea. Our meta is you take turrets and then you capitalize on that. CLG said, well, that's not the way we work. And it's been really great to see this game how they've worked together to use that as one of their strengths. And it's not just a strength, it's devastating. 7 turrets to 0. I mean, come on. That has to be a result of some great training, some great practice, and some great coordination working together to get this game done. I mean, it's a team game. This is the way it's supposed to be played. No matter what strategy you use, you work together, and this is exactly what CLG has done. And really, Fear can't really react to that. I mean, they've tried, and each time they try to go for maybe stopping somebody split pushing, there's always more members of CLG there ready to back things up. And so it's been great to see them sort of coagulate around the different areas of stress points and really support one another. I mean, I asked you what Fear had to do to come back from this, and picking off Doublelift is certainly a way to start, but I mean, to get your expert opinion on the situation Fear's in right now, I mean, how do they stop this split push? Do they hard engage? Do they try to just go for picking off Doublelift? I mean, Baron's going to start to be contested now, and without any turrets, that's going to make it hard for Fear.
I mean, they need to find a way to force a fight, and Baron is a good objective, but in all honesty, CLG doesn't need Baron. They don't need to force that. So Fear has to find 2-3 members out and absolutely blow them up. They have a great combination of ultimates. They have the crescendo from Sona. They can use the knock up feast out of Cho'Gath to do a ton of damage to someone. Darius dunked, if he can get one kill, they can spiral that pretty far, and they have Ghost of Zuno's ultimate, which will do a ton of damage if they can get someone in a condensed space. They want to fight in the jungle. They don't want to fight on open ground because there's too much mobility on CLG. They can just jump around in way too many ways and slow down too many people. Granted, if they fight in the jungle, they're never going to catch Hotshot, but if they catch Doublelift, Chaucer, and Big Fat LP, well, then Hotshot, he can split push all he wants. If there are 5 people pushing down mid lane, if they do it right, Hotshot won't be able, people fear the split pushing Nidalee. Well, if you've got 5 members pushing mid and there's just a split pushing Nidalee, you'll do it faster than the Nidalee. But that is going to require them to get a really good engage.
Absolutely, and that really good engage is something that I haven't seen too much of. I mean, I've been looking for it. It just has not been there because every time they go to engage, there's always enough disengage for CLG to get back out again. And I think that's once that becomes a big enough problem, as I guess it's already become, we are back into the game, and well, all of our theory crafting during the pause is about to come to fruition. I mean, everybody from Fear kind of grouped up around their base, starting to try to push out the lanes, but they need to get some ward coverage on Baron. They need to get that out because, like you said, if they can pick out somebody a little bit, out of position, that's going to be their first step to coming back from this. And I feel like as they spread out, they're really trying to just shove out their waves and stop everybody from just AFK shoving in everything into their base. They do have an inhibitor down, which will be a weakness, but I mean, what do you do when you see Nidalee running back up to top lane? You get a really great positioning from Loco there, clearing out everything around Baron, making sure that Fear just doesn't have enough wards. I mean, what do you do when you're in Zuna's position? You find yourself up there with Hotshot. You just walk away?
Kind of. Oh, the Moonfall in onto Aftermove, pulling him back, doing a ton of damage. The Crescendo comes out, but only really locks a big fat LP. Now Chaucer moving off onto Xmithy lands a phenomenal resonating strike combo. The knockback and the ace in the hole onto Xmithy. They really just want to finish him off so they can make an engagement. Goes to Zuna's ultimate, running through the Rumble ultimate, the equalizer. Gonna keep them zoned in there, and amazingly, Xmithy makes it out of there, but what's Doublelift doing? He's pushing a tower. Just doing what he does best. Now trying to finish it off. Oh my god, a perfect combo onto Ghost Zuna. Just a phenomenal bit of just absolute straight down the line Caitlyn play. And now Doublelift is going to help them bring down another inhibitor. Hotshot GG picking up that one. And they could probably just switch tank out this turret in top lane. I actually think a surrender vote has come out because Loco is popping his ultimate, and that's going to be GG.
Well, that was a whole lot of waiting for not a lot of action afterwards. Just completely one-sided as CLG pushed in for the victory, really came together as a team and really completed a really advanced strategy that, well, they wouldn't have tried before, but thanks to some cooperation and some really great planning and teamwork, able to go ahead and take this victory over Fear 13-5. So thanks for watching, guys. This has been the game.